when we say it's important for the bragging rights, like, it's important for the bragging rights.
I told you, I think this year I could potentially be the best NFL sports bettor in the world.
The first pick of the year, that is exactly where I was going to go.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Oh, did I not mention that that the Eagles I took last year? Did I forget to say that? Did I forget to say that?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
Let's just say that's the case. We don't need to go back. We don't need to fact check. Let's say that is the case.
This season, and I hope you guys watching at home understand this, this season is so massively important because right now, we're 1-1.
All right, everyone, welcome back to H2H, the NFL show in which Tassos and I battle it out each and every week. I'll explain more about the format, the exact format of the show in just a little bit, but today we have our Season 3 opener. We're going to be doing our NFL Futures Edition. Tassos, can you believe that we've done this? We're going on now 3 years of doing this. Pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. I still remember the day we had the conversation, like where this show kind of got born from. And it feels like, just yesterday that happened. And now that's almost 3 years ago. It's pretty crazy.
I know. It is really cool. And I mean, this is one of the things that we both looked forward to every single week, obviously being massive NFL fans. But this is one of the more unique, I would say, pick shows out there. Like I said, want to explain the format. I'll do it pretty briefly, but obviously as you guys watch, you'll understand. We involve a little bit of some wheels, choosing the categories that we actually look into. We switch off round by round. We also have a Fade Me edition at the end, in which that round is one person picks something, the other person is required to take the exact opposite side of it. It'll all make sense as we get going here, guys, but just buckle up. Get ready for a lot of fun during the NFL season. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'd like to remind everybody that last year, it was an absolute ass whooping, and I took it to you, Tassos. Do you remember that? Are you sore still, or how are you feeling?
I remember it, but you know what? It's great because this season, and I hope you guys watching at home understand this, this season is so massively important because right now, we're 1-1.
The rubber match.
Year one,
yep.
You got year two. This is the tiebreaker, and then the thing is, the next time that you can possibly get advantage, whoever wins this one, it's like 2 years before you could possibly even take the lead back. So it's really important for bragging rights. Really important.
It really is. And the bragging rights come up a lot between me and you. So, I mean, when we say it's important for the bragging rights, like, it's important for the bragging rights. But yeah, Tassos did whoop me in season number 1. So as much as I can be like, oh, I crushed you last year, it was pretty much the same thing, 2 years ago. But what we're going to do in today's video is spinning wheel. Like I said, we're going to go round by round, and we have multiple categories on the wheel. Once we land on a slice of that wheel, Tassos and I are required to make a play within that category. We can't overlap. We can't duplicate, anything like that. Once we make that play, it is off the board. It obviously is a little bit different with futures. So once we pull up the wheel, you'll see the categories, but some pretty normal, I would say, Tassos futures categories that we're looking at right now, right? So if you're ready to jump right into it, I am too.
I'm ready. I just want to give a warning to you because yes, you won last year. And yeah, you whooped me, but I just want it to be known, beware of the hungry dog because when they're hungry, you don't know what's coming. So all I'm saying is I've had a lot of time to think about last year. I've had a lot of time to look forward to this season.
Yeah.
I told you a couple weeks ago, I was on your MLB Live video there. I told you, I think this year I could potentially be the best NFL sports bettor in the world on YouTube. So just throwing that out there, beware. I'm coming for you.
Tassos hasn't learned now, and again, 3 years of doing this, that, to be in the cocky asshole and all that, like, hasn't learned from it whatsoever. I think you lost a lot of fans last year during the NFL season.
I probably did.
You did make some. You did make some. There was a few comments last year, which, speaking of comments, guys, comment Team Ev or Team Tassos down in the comments. Let us know who you're riding with this year. But there were some people that are like, damn, I really do hate Tassos, but there's something about him. And I was like, screw that guy. You're either Team Ev or Team Tassos as far as H2H is concerned. But Tassos, we have a wheel to spin. It's going to have a bunch of Tassos slices. It's going to have a bunch of Ev slices. our two names. Whoever this lands on goes first in the draft order. It is then a snake draft. So whoever goes first, the next person has 2 picks as we go round by round. But I feel like, I don't remember exactly, but I feel like whoever this lands on, usually some good vibes for the entire season when we do the first wheel spin of H2H every year.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at how they did last year, but I'm pretty sure you won the wheel the first spin, and obviously the season you had was really good. But year one, I'm pretty sure I had the first wheel spin win. So
let's just say that's the case. We don't need to go back. We don't need to fact check. Let's say that is the case, and we're both pulling for the spin. Now, I'll say we can definitely fact check if it lands on you, and then we can take it from there. Because I'm not trying to lose a season for one wheel spin. But let's go ahead and spin it.
All right, let's see what the wheel gods, they start us off strong here. It's going to be me.
It is going to be you. It's going to land on Tassos. Like I said, we don't know for a fact that the first wheel spin of the year means anything, right? So who even knows? But
we don't know that it doesn't not mean anything. So, I mean, it could be a massive indication of what's to come, Ev.
What a good point. That couldn't be more accurate. All right, you're going to see a second wheel on your screen now in just a moment. That is going to be the category we're looking at. And like I said, there are pretty typical categories that we're looking at. Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl exact matchup, conference winner, team total in wins to make the playoffs, and player prop future. Now, like I mentioned, if Tassos takes like a team total wins, I can't double dip into that exact same game. I think that we kind of did that. I mean, maybe we could switch it up this year, Tassos. If you like a team total wins over, maybe I could take the under. I guess that's something that we could do, but
I don't mind. If you feel ballsy enough to go ahead and do that, go for it.
Yeah, all right. You know what? Screw it. Let's take the handcuffs off for the futures episode here. But anyways, we have team total wins to make the playoff, player prop future, Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl matchup, and conference winner. Anything that you're like dying to get now that you have the first pick here?
You know what I always like to say, Ev, the world's my oyster. I'm ready. I'm ready for anything you got for me.
This guy. All right, let's go ahead and spin it. I got 1 to 2 in every single category. If you do take mine, it's going to be a little tough.
All right, to make the playoffs.
Is it going to sit there? Yep.
Yeah,
all right, to make the playoffs. So, guys, by the way, we remove that slice now so it doesn't come up again. During the regular season, we'll have multiple slices of some categories and whatnot. But for this one, to make the playoffs is now off the chart. Tassos, take it away.
All right, you guys might judge me for this. I'm going to go with a little bit of a safer pick here, but it's as close to a lock as you possibly can get. And for the odds, pretty phenomenal. So I'm going Houston Texans to make the playoffs. Yep, I love to see that. You love to see that.
The first pick of the year. That is exactly where I was going to go.
You love to see that. Minus 130 right now on DraftKings for them to make the playoffs. They're going to win the division, let alone make the playoffs. Like, they're going to win the division. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Houston Texans right now. And look, granted, their offense took a huge step back in year 2. Stroud struggled. Their team struggled. But they had one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, and that's not going to change. They still, coming into this year, have a top 5 defense in the National Football League. And new offensive coordinator. They finally get some receiver. Nico Collins will be back. They add Christian Kirk in free agency. The offensive line, still a bit of concern. I'll admit that off the jump. But regardless of all these things, they play in the AFC South. You have 6 games this year where you have the Colts, the Titans, and the Jaguars, all teams that range from mediocre to bad. So I think Houston and here's the thing, the Texans made the playoffs last year and their offense was anemic. They can't get any worse. It genuinely can't. And as long as their defense plays anywhere close to the level that it did last year, their defense will get them to 8 or 9 wins alone, regardless of what the offense does. So I like Houston a lot here from minus 130. To me, obviously I would have liked to have gone with the plus money play, but you know what? We're going to play it a little bit on the safer side here. Minus 130. Like I said, if this team does not make the playoffs, I would be genuinely shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you, right? I did my individual futures video, and we don't have that category on here, so I can say it, but I have the Texans to win the division there. You mentioned that the defense, I think that this offense, I know you kind of said that they should be better or whatever. It was clear that the OC was kind of on the way out, you know what I mean? Now that you kind of look back on it, you add, I guess, Nick Chubb. I think people forget how good he can actually be. And this is a team that, regardless of how good they can be either way, they do play in such a soft division. So I really do like that spot first pick of H2H this year was a steal. That was one of my shorter categories that I have. I do have another one, but I really can't, nitpick or pick at anything about the Texans. If they don't, it's like almost if the Texans don't win that division, don't make the playoffs, there is some like really big alarm bells sounding, like that should be. And again, you said luck. I don't want to say luck anymore because now you have it. But realistically, like that should be a decent spot. All right, guys, taking a quick break from the show, which I hope you are enjoying the kickoff of H2H. I wanted to let you know that we do have our NFL Survivor contest now live. Only about a week left to get in this bad boy. $10 per entry. You can enter up to 5 times. The winner's going to walk home with nearly $3,000. If you guys don't know how Survivor works, all you do is pick one team to win each and every week. The catch is you can't pick the same team twice. So me being a Patriots fan, if I like them in week number 1, I take them, they win, great. I move on and advance to week number 2. But I can't take the Patriots for the rest of the season. Again, $10 per entry. You can enter up to 5 times if you want to have multiple teams going each and every week. Go ahead and check it out. Link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Let's jump back into H2H. Mine's in a similar... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt. I was just saying it would take something like a CJ Stroud like season-ending injury to really slow it off.
Can happen to any team too. So, yep. Mine's in a similar situation now. I'm looking at the Bucks to make the playoffs. A little bit more juice. That's minus 160, but I do think division-wise I like it. I mean, you have the Panthers and the Saints in there. The Falcons, I actually don't think the Falcons are going to suck this year. They have a pretty damn easy schedule and everything like that, but I do think that this Bucks team, I would say unarguably, undebatably is probably a better word, the best team in that division. We saw Baker Mayfield really kind of show the league how good he is. Another year of Bucky Irving here. Obviously, healthy receivers as well. Defense, I guess you could say okay, but I kind of envision this being more of an offensive team. But to me, it kind of comes down to much like we talked about with the Texans there, the division that they're in. So I like the Bucks to make the playoffs. Yeah, I'm paying some juice. Again, minus 160 over on FD right now. But you know what? You took my first option. This is my second.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing that we are in such agreement here, but I agree with that 100%. I actually think Tampa Bay could be one of the heavy hitters in the NFC this year.
Really?
The biggest thing is they're going to struggle a little early on. New offensive coordinator. They've got some injuries, Tristan Wirfs, Chris Godwin, but when they, give it like 3-4 weeks, once they kind of get settled in this new offense, their guys are healthy. They drafted Emeka Egbuka in the first round, who I think was an absolute steal at wide receiver. They didn't even need a wide receiver, but they got another one for Baker to throw to. Now you have Evans, Godwin, Egbuka. You got Bucky Irving, like you mentioned. You still have Cade Otton, who I know that name doesn't really, bring fireworks out, but he is one of the better pass-catching tight ends in the NFL today. Solid offensive line. The defense is not great, but it's definitely better than what it was last year. And again, you mentioned that weaker division, although I do agree with you. Atlanta would be interesting. I actually think Carolina will be interesting this year as well. But, it's still a weaker division. The Bucs should go ahead and make the playoffs as long as Baker Mayfield can get anywhere close to what he was last year, which, some people are saying without Liam Cohen, how is that going to go? I think they'll be fine because as much as his offense was important to their success, this team is loaded offensively. If they don't make the playoffs, again, like Houston, I'd be genuinely shocked.
Yep. And one thing I will say to anyone that's watching new, this is odd that Tassos and I are both just so agreeable on each other's picks. We go out of our ways probably if he says something or I say something in the show to try and find the reason. Because again, it's H2H, head to head. We're going at each other. I don't want to agree with his picks. I don't think he wants to agree with mine, but these are two here that again, like I do think that, and again, Tassos, we're paying a little bit of juice to make the playoffs here, so they should, in theory, have a decent percent chance.
That's my one negative for you. Is it kind of it's a little soft.
Minus 160 to make a playoffs is one. That's a lot of juice to wait for an entire year for something to pay out. I get that.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, you did take my first one. But all right, you ready to dive into round number 2?
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm off. Listen, that reaction you gave me after that first pick. That's what I needed. It made me stronger. Like I was already feeling good, and I feel even better now.
I can't lie. If that same thing happened, I would be so fired up. So I can't even deny it. All right, so that is off the board. We now have Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl matchup, conference winner, team total, and player prop on the board. I have one, I do want to get some I'd be devastated if we don't get some Super Bowl winners or Super Bowl matchup or something in here because I want some long odds in the show. But we don't decide. That's the wheel gods, right? But I do really like.
Let's be honest, you're a little bit of a humble brag because you obviously picked the Super Bowl.
Oh, did I not mention that that the Eagles I took last year? Did I forget to say that? Did I forget to say that?
Oh, you did, but I feel like you kind of knew what you were doing there.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of like my Super Bowl spot this year as well. But again, I feel like I have a couple underrated plays for the team totals and the player props too. So we'll see where we go there. But all right, let's spin this thing. And again, I'm going first in this round because it is a snake draft, and conference winner is what we're looking at here.
I'm glad you remembered the order. That's a good start for you.
I know that is pretty unlikely as well. All right, I have a couple options here. I will say I think it's fair enough to yank the. I think we should probably yank Bucks and yank Houston if I'm being honest, just so we don't have the same. Like I could take Houston right now as I like. I do think that is kind of fair. So I'll admit that was probably my number one spot to look in terms of a conference winner. But there's a couple other spots that
Whoa, hold on. Pump the brakes. You thought Tampa or Houston were going to the Super Bowl?
Sorry, conference winner.
Wait,
was that conference or division?
Conference winners.
Oh, I thought it said division. Oh, no, then you can. Oh, my bad. Yeah.
I'm like, man. I mean, listen.
I don't know. I was thinking that
too, but I mean,
okay, fair enough.
Super Bowl,
you know how you're like good job remembering the order. Well, I mean, that might be a worse
category, 100%.
All right, okay, that is fair then. Then I would say Bucks and Houston, if you want, are still fair game. I was thinking division for whatever reason.
Mine, you can have them. I'll pass.
No, mine. I just think you're getting good value on a team that is still like. What happened to them in the Super Bowl last year is making everybody think that this team stinks, and I don't think they stink. Chiefs at plus 425 to win the AFC is my conference winner spot. Do I like that? No, you probably don't like the sound of it either, but the fact that the Chiefs are sitting where they're sitting is kind of crazy to me. Like everybody loves Baltimore, Buffalo, Eagles make sense to me. I get it, but still like maybe it's the Patriots fans in us that it's like, oh, like you just kind of forget how good this team is because they lost. They lost in the Super Bowl. They stunk for a lot of that year, turned it on. It stinks having it in my mouth, right? I don't like the taste of it. But at plus 425 on MGM right now, like that's kind of ludicrous. So give me the Chiefs to win the AFC.
Yeah, like I said, I hate agreeing with you, but it's the truth. I mean, there are teams, and I'd be honest, like I do like some of the other teams that are on the board, but I probably, if I had the first pick, I probably would have went Kansas City. It is the New England thing all over. It's like there really aren't too many ways to poke holes into it. They definitely have weaknesses. I do think this is one of the weaker Chiefs teams we've seen. They kind of remind me of the 2018 Patriots, where like you could see the age starting to creep in. Yep. There's some holes in the roster, but there's still obviously they're a step above everybody else.
I feel like they can win those, and never mind like the refs or all the conspiracies, right? But they can win those like that game of inches a lot of times as well, which we've seen that over the years with them and other teams. Like that matters so much as the year gets late. So even though they're like older and whatnot, it's like technically speaking, I would say that experience, when's it going to show up? Late in the year. Will they get there? That's the biggest question. But again, it's the odds for me.
Their schedule is definitely tough, but I do think that they're going to make the playoffs for sure. And as long as they're in the playoffs, you give Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and those guys a shot, they're going to take it. In those close games, there's no team right now in the NFL better in those close game situations than the Chiefs. They know how to win those games. They've been there so many times now. They know what to do. It's just like New England, like we said. I hate to compare it because I want to sit in my world where the Patriots were the only dynasty that's ever existed. But the Chiefs are very similar in the sense that like you get in those dog fights and they've been there. They know what to do. They know how to keep their composure. So I can't really argue with that, and especially when you're getting it for plus 400 for a team. How many times have been in the Super Bowl now in the Mahomes era? Is it 4 or 5 times now?
Yeah. Well, they're about to three-peat, so that would be 3.
They lost 2. They've lost
5 times. Yeah, I guess so, right? Yes.
Yeah, they lost to Tampa, twice. They lost to Philly. They beat the...
They lost to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they lost to Tampa. They won 3, I think, so far. Because they won the 2 in a row, and then I think they won the first one before that.
Yeah, Eagles. They beat
the Eagles the first time. Yeah. Yep, they beat San Francisco twice.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So there you go. I mean, it's again, if this was like, if they were sitting as like the absolute odds-on favorites and stuff, then maybe not. Like I do think Buffalo is going to be good this year. Obviously Baltimore. Like I get the other teams are there. It's not really to discredit them. It's more so when the ball bounces the Chiefs' way, I wouldn't be surprised type of thing. What do you got?
I was going to go safe pick here, but I'm actually feeling a bit of a long shot. I'm feeling a little ballsy here. I am going to go with the Green Bay Packers at plus 900 in the NFC. Listen, I want to put it out there right now. I do own a share of the Green Bay Packers, so I'm technically an owner. So I don't know if it's legal for me to be betting on the team. But all that being said, I in terms of long shot odds, I think Green Bay is the most realistic. Like you look at some of the other ones, like Denver right now in the AFC, at least on DraftKings. You can get them for plus 1,100. I like Denver a lot this year. I don't think they have the capability to get to the Super Bowl. You go to the NFC, some of the other teams, like, the Rams, they're interesting, but can Matt Stafford stay upright? In terms of all the teams with odds of like plus 800 or higher, Green Bay is the only one that I can legitimately make a case for making the Super Bowl. They've got a strong defense, a strong offensive line. Defense, it's getting better, I should say. Last year was a little bit of a disappointment, but it's getting better. The offensive line is solid. Jordan Love was hurt most of last year, and I know that's not a great excuse to use. There's a lot of quarterbacks who can use that excuse, but I do think Jordan Love, we've seen him every year get better, despite the fact that he's had some serious roadblocks, whether that be injury, whether it be the fact that his wide receivers drop every ball that touches their hands. I think the receiver core is better this year. Josh Jacobs had a phenomenal first year in Green Bay last year. I just think they're well coached. They have a solid offense. Their defense is going to be better this year. I like Green Bay. I think they're going to be battle tested coming out of the NFC North. And look, they were competitive last year. If it weren't for some of these injuries and some of these inconsistencies with the wide receiver group, they could have made a serious run. Again, they're a long shot for a reason. Would I necessarily say right now I think they're a better bet than the Eagles? No, but if I'm going for a long odd team, I think Green Bay is a very realistic team where I could see them getting out of the NFC into the Super Bowl. For plus 900, the value is too hard to pass on.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say that I hate that either. Like this is a team that you mentioned the Broncos, but they're in that same range as like the Chargers, the Bengals, the Broncos. I mean, those are AFC teams, right? But if you kind of look at the path that Green Bay, to your point, would have to go through, it would just be Eagles or I guess Lions in a sense, right? That's a lot easier than the Chiefs, Bills, Baltimore. Like the competition there for very similar odds is kind of selling. Now, if you were sitting here trying to claim that it wasn't a long shot and that this is going to hit, this is a great spot, then I'd probably have a little bone to pick and be like, well, no. When I mentioned going through the Eagles, going through the Lions, like those are two tough spots. Maybe even just say the Eagles because maybe the Lions. Who knows if the Lions regress with Ben Johnson? Who knows, right? But the Eagles obviously kind of a kingpin in the NFC as of right now, especially if they stay healthy. But you are mentioning that's a long shot. And like I said, you put the Packers, the Bengals, the Chargers, and the Broncos all kind of in the same conversation for odds to win their conference. One of those teams truly does stand out to me, and it is the Packers. So yeah, for plus, what'd you say, plus 900?
900.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of thing that you could probably even say it's plus 750, and I'd still think that that's like somewhat of a good price. You know what I mean? So at least in my brain, I don't necessarily really want to hate on that whatsoever.
Well, especially if you look at some of the other teams, like the Niners right now, right? They're plus 950. The Niners, they have
there's another really good one to put in that same category. Like I do think that this Packers team, albeit their odds are shorter than the teams I mentioned, but if you kind of put them in the same tier, right? Like I think that Packers team is head and shoulders.
Like right now, personally, I'm taking Green Bay over San Francisco. Like I think the Niners have a lot of issues that they haven't been able to figure out. They lost a lot of key pieces. Like the Commanders too, like again, NFC Championship team, really solid numbers, but their defense was a problem last year. They won a lot of lucky games last year. Is that going to happen again this year? I just think Green Bay were really good last year, and they really didn't have any luck on their side. The injury luck wasn't on their side. Those close game luck wasn't really on their side. They had a lot of inconsistency. Like I said, the drop passes was ridiculous last year. I just think if they can't really be any unluckier. They can only go up. And if they have a little bit of luck on their side, I think Green Bay can make a little bit of a run here with some of these NFC teams. Because really, it's the Eagles and then it's everybody else. Like Detroit, I think they could take a massive step back this year. So I think Green Bay, you can make a legitimate case. They're the second best team in the NFC right now. And for plus 900 for what is possibly the second best team in the NFC,
Fair.
I mean, that's great value.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't really poke too many holes there. All right, round number 3. We're flying through this, but I think it's probably because we're both eager to talk football.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, like we've been texting about this and everything for a while now. But we have 4 slices left on our fine wheel here. Still have Super Bowl winners, still have Super Bowl matchup, team total and wins, and player prop. Now, because I'm getting superb at knowing the order. Now, because it's a snake draft, you are leading us off. This is our last round before Fade Me. And guys, by the way, I already kind of hinted at what Fade Me was, but Fade Me, there's no wheel. It's gonna spin. Well, I guess there is a wheel. It'll determine who gets the round, either me or Tassos. You can pick anything across the board. The other person is forced to fade it. So this is the last wheel spin. Tassos, is there anything that you're looking for in terms of the category wheel spin?
It might be bad to say this, but I'm honestly looking ahead to Fade Me because I have a pick. We talked about it before we started recording. I have a pick that I think is going to be really fun to give you as a Fade Me pick.
Okay.
But, I'm just kind of hoping that I get the wheel spin on that one. So, as for this one, again, the world's my oyster. Whatever you give me, I got a pick for it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's call it in the air. All right, we'll kick off. You deferred right there. You're like, I'll take the Fade Me, not this wheel. But all right, let's see what we got. I'd love to get a player prop in there, honestly.
You might get
and
your wish.
it's gonna be okay. You're leading us off with team total for wins. I really don't hope I really hope you don't take mine.
Well, so all right, let's see. I have some strategy to put into place here because I've got a lot of different options. You know what? I'm gonna go with one, and this you can call me a fan bet or whatever. I really don't care. Let me just get down to them. I'm gonna go with the. Come on, get out of here. Sorry, computer's.
Oh, he's scrolling. That means he's going deep.
Well, I had to get there. I'm going. This one to me is just an easy one. I'm going with the New England Patriots over in wins. I just think. Look, I think there's a fine line because I've seen some Patriots fans that are out here and they're saying, "Oh, 12 wins," and I think that's ridiculous. I do think New England's going to be massively improved. I'm going to take them over 8.5 wins. It's -110 over on DraftKings. 9 wins.
You can actually get it +110 on FD there. So you know what?
Perfect. I appreciate the help on that one.
I shouldn't have mentioned it, but that's 20 cents.
I appreciate
that's 20 cents of value. I couldn't let you get hung there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so +110 on FanDuel, over 8.5. Look, they won 4 games last year, and they were literally abysmal. Defensively abysmal. They had the worst offensive line in the league. Drake May made.
Remember, they really should have won 3 games. So even that 4 is a stretch.
Yeah, and I just think if you in every category, this team is better. They've got a better head coach, better coordinators. The defense, legitimately, and I get it. I'm wearing a Patriots hoodie right now. I'm a Patriots fan. But I'm telling you, this legitimately could be a top 10 defense in the National Football League by the end of the year. They have a phenomenal unit, a well-coached unit at that. But their D-line with Milton Williams, they had Harold Landry, Keon White is going to be a better fit within this system. Their defense is legitimate. And on the offensive side of the football, you cannot get any worse than it was last year. The offensive line should be legitimately better. They got a couple of good rookies in Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. They obviously had Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury, some nice veterans. Travion Henderson, who as a Notre Dame football fan, I'm not, broke my heart in the national title game, but I've grown to love him in New England. He looks incredible. And the wide receiver room looks better. I mean, Stephon Diggs, who knows what he's going to be this year, but he can't be any worse than what they had last year. And, I just think across the board, as long as Drake May takes the next step in his progression, they should be better. And their schedule is Charmin ultra soft. I mean, it is a weak schedule.
I think it is on a lot of different sites. It's the second by far and away. There's the 49ers have I think by far and away the easiest schedule. And then it's the Patriots. So by a big drop from the 49ers, but then there's a bigger drop to some of the other teams in the pack. And I think that's from, I don't remember the sites, but I've seen that all over, multiple sites and how they weigh it, whether it's last year's team, how close they were to 500 or power ratings or all that. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. So I just, and I get it, jumping from 4 wins when they were that terrible to 9 wins. You're asking for a lot. It's a massive jump, but I just think with the schedule, you parlay all those things I just talked about, the schedule, the improved defense. My thing, honestly, really boils down to the coaching. Dante Scarnecchia came back to kind of assist with, the offensive line rebuild. And I think Vrabel's a proven guy. This isn't Gerard Mayo where it's oh, he's a Patriot guy. Vrabel, not only does he come from Belichick, and he's not a Belichick assistant coach, he's a Belichick player. So he knows the Patriot way from beforehand, but he's a proven guy. In Tennessee, he had some really great Titans teams. And if you kind of look back at those Titans teams, they weren't like stacked to the brim. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the Eagles. Like, he took Ryan Tannehill, who had flunked out in Miami, took him to Tennessee, and Tannehill looked like a legitimate superstar for a couple of years there. He took some really good Titans teams pretty deep in the playoffs. I mean, they challenged the Chiefs in that AFC title game they played. So I just think Vrabel's proven. He's got a lot of support behind him in New England. He's got an exciting young quarterback, a solid defense, some nice pieces on offense now with a soft schedule. I just think New England, 9 wins for plus 110. I think I'm going to go ahead and take that value there because I think they're getting a little bit undersold now. 8.5, to me, the line should be 9.5 minus 110 or plus 110. But I think the value there at 9 wins is very strong.
So I like what you're saying, obviously, as a Patriots fan and stuff too, right? What I will say is I do think that if and like the requirements of all those steps would be the thing that now I wouldn't take the under. So I'm not saying that I would like fade this play, right? I do think that the leap from 4 to 9 seems pretty massive, especially with like there's a lot of variables at play. This is not another year of Mike Vrabel or another year of Drake May and Mike Vrabel, another year of this defensive line and defensive front. It's like this is all brand new. And yeah, I do think that it's a massive improvement. And I do think that the Patriots probably land anywhere from, 8 to 10 wins, which means, I guess, for plus money, you're looking at that middle number of 9 makes total sense. Again, I wouldn't take the opposite side of this. I don't know if I'm fully sold on every what if clicking. And I almost think that this is being priced, or I guess the line is being set to every what if, because to win 9 games is a decent amount, especially for like a second year quarterback, not a first year coach, but first year with the team. I do think that is like a tall task. I don't think it's a task they can't accomplish. So I hope that kind of is making sense. But I do think that jump of, winning more games as a difference, like additional games than you even won last year, seems like it's a little bit of a leap. But again, you're getting plus money. I really can't hate it. It's not even the Patriots bias kicking in. Like all of those ifs that are my sort of deterrent also aren't that hard to like happen, right? It's not like, oh, Drake May learned how to throw with his left hand and he's way better. Like we're not talking about Ben Simmons trying to shoot the 3 here if he makes it. We're talking about things that should fall into place. So that's my only kind of, I guess I would say, hesitancy. It's not like a total against it or anything. It's a big leap. Like all those ifs are a big leap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with that. That's what, it's a risk. Like I said, I had some other picks on the board that I thought about going that might have been safer, but I said, you know what? I'm feeling ballsy. It's the first H2H episode of the year. Let's just go for it. And obviously, being a Patriots fan,
that's what I was gonna say. You get that benefit too.
It feels good to be like, hey, you know what? The Patriots might actually be good this year. Like,
you might also that might as well be like plus 160 to you or me if we took it, because now you're gonna be rooting for it like additionally more as a Patriots fan. It's a nice little reverse tax there. All right, I'm going in a different direction. A team that we actually both mentioned earlier, the Atlanta Falcons, over 7.5 wins, minus 135. I just think that I honestly would put it on 2 fronts here. I think their roster's better, and in spots where they were young, they're just a little bit, more experienced now. If we want to say Michael Penix is the future and stuff, whatever, I think someone could argue that if they really wanted to, but I also don't mind the idea of like, say they kind of start slow and Kirk Cousins has to be, like, I think there's a little bit of a pivot there, but I think that their receiver core is pretty good. I actually do think that Kyle Pitts is actually going to be good this year. And winning 8 games with a schedule that they have, I think, on most sites here in terms of their strength of schedule, they have like a bottom 5 or like a top 5 easiest schedule. So kind of like that spot. They get the Panthers twice, they get the Saints twice. So yeah, I kind of like the Falcons. I don't necessarily know if I love the minus 135. Like, I think that is, I would have loved to get something kind of more in your range, whether it's even odds or plus 110. But to me, minus 135 still makes sense for the Falcons to win, 8 games this year.
Did they remind me, because I don't have to the top of my head, did the Falcons win 8 games last year too? Didn't they go 8-9?
I think that they were last year. They were 8-9. So they did what they literally hit this line last year. If they could just do what they did again, or did what they did last year again, they would hit it.
It's just tough. like I said earlier, I do think Atlanta they're going to be an interesting team this year. The problem with betting on them is like we just talked about with New England, right? The variables, but I think with New England, like some of those variables are a little more like I can see them, like it's tangible.
They're more tangible. I would give you that. I mean, especially even thinking about Penix to Drake May, like I know exactly who I feel more
Yeah.
comfortable with. So I totally get that. And I should mention this, kind of walk back even my points. When I mentioned that price at minus 130-ish, like I do think that is like the variability, the sporadicness of what this Falcons team could be doesn't strike me as like minus 135. Probably strikes me as like minus 105. So I like the actual number. I like the play. I don't know how much I love the odds, but realistically, I was having a tough time going elsewhere.
Yeah, like if this was plus 110, I'd feel way better about this. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, like I said, the Penix, like I know some people I've been seeing on like online, people have been talking a lot of hype about how he throws the ball and whatnot, but like and granted, he came in, he only started 3 games last year, but I wasn't totally impressed. I mean, he completed less than 60% of his passes. Had 3 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Again, it's hard to base it off of just it was a very small sample size. He got thrown in late in this year. But, he's an older guy with a long list of injury history, coming from college. Again, he had a phenomenal finish to his career at Washington, but I just have a lot of question marks with Penix, whether or not this is going to work or not. And then beyond just the Penix thing, their defense was not good last year. Their pass rush was non-existent. And I don't really think it got all that much better this year. They had a pretty weak defense, again, specifically up front, rushing the quarterback. Remember, they traded last year for Matthew Judon from New England before the year to try to kind of boost that defense, and it didn't work. And I just don't know if it's going to be that much better this year. Unlike New England, where they spent a ton of money and a ton of resources on improving that defense, Atlanta, they had some additions, but not enough, in my opinion. So, and yes, their schedule is easy, but like I said, I think Carolina is going to be a little more first year than people think. The Saints are going to be terrible, but some of the teams on their schedule, you're basing that off of last year's numbers, but I think Carolina's going to be better. Some of the teams they have lined up that you would consider an easy game, I actually think those teams are going to be improved upon. So again, I mean, it's not, I don't hate it. I just personally probably wouldn't put it on my actual ticket. But I can see the logic. I can see where you go for, the over 7.5 wins. Again, they did it last year. And honestly, a lot of things went wrong last year. So if things go a little bit better, how can you say they're going to get less than 8 wins? You know what I mean? So I do see the logic in it.
Yeah, you know what? The way that I would put this is I do think that they have like a floor of, call it maybe even 6, right? And if they can pull out a couple games throughout the year in which they're like, oh, we squeezed that one out, or Penix had like a legendary game, even if he's not having the best year, that's probably what I'm looking at. Whereas to your pick, the Patriots, and this is funny that we agreed with the first 2 picks from each other. Now we got a little bit of like disagreement, I guess. But with the Patriots, like their ceiling could be, 10, 11, 12 wins. I would be shocked if the Falcons got to 11 wins, right?
Yeah.
So it's more so a floor play in a sense, which I guess when I phrase it like that, it makes me feel a little bit better about the minus 135 price because I think that that's somewhat of a safe spot. But yeah, I hear you. I think that the defense could be an issue. I think that their offense obviously should take another step up because everybody that, matters there is getting older. This is not like a veteran-ridden team. This is a pretty young offense that everyone's getting better or should get better if they just follow the course of the career. So yeah, I hear you. I would say that there's a lot of spots that we probably could have gone with team total wins. But you know what? We landed on the Patriots, we landed on the Falcons, 8.5 and 7.5.
Yep. I think the biggest pro for yours, honestly, is the fact that they won 8 games last year. And like I said, a lot of stuff went wrong. So I mean, even if their defense is as bad as it was last year, as long as Penix makes a little improvement. Because remember, there was a point where Kirk Cousins was terrible last year. Like he had a little stretch there where it was like abysmal to watch. He was like the worst quarterback in the league for a solid.
Yeah, you could really argue. Like I know that they kind of brought Penix in because it was like a whatever type thing, but like Kirk Cousins kind of like lost the job too. It wasn't like
he was terrible.
But it wasn't like let's just work. Let's get the young kids some reps. It was like we need to get a new quarterback in the game.
Get this guy off our team. They didn't just bench him. They benched him. We're like, can we cut this guy now?
Yeah. But that being said, I do think one of the probably better backup quarterbacks in the league. Hopefully, I guess not based on what we saw last year, but I still think Kirk Cousins is. So that's
sure.
at least somewhat of a safety blanket. Are you ready for Fade Me, Tazos?
I want it. I want it so bad. I want to see your face when I make this pick.
All right. So, like I mentioned, guys, whoever this wheel lands on gets to make a pick across the board. It doesn't have to be in these categories, doesn't have to be anything like that. I or Tassos, whoever it lands on, makes that pick. The other person has to take, at the current odds, the opposite side of it. This is one of the most unique things we do. There's been so many weeks where it comes down to the wire. Absolutely love that we have this. And it kind of just correlates with, obviously, our brand, Fade Me, right? FadeMe.store. Go ahead and check it out. But Tassos, are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready. Please, wheel gods, just for the
Let's spin it, baby. Come on.
Give it to me. Come on. Oh, God. Oh, no. Go.
No. Sit.
Yes! Yes!
All right. You got what you wanted. I'm playing that clip back if this thing does not hit. I'm remembering.
Oh, it'd be embarrassing. Horribly embarrassing if it doesn't hit.
All right. What are we looking at? Do you want to do a little drum roll? Do you want to?
My first Fade pick of the 2025 season. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys under 8.5 wins, minus 145. So at least on DraftKings. So I don't know if you can find different odds somewhere else. You'll have to take the over 8.5. And I'm actually giving you plus money too on DraftKings, plus 120. So I don't know if you can find other odds somewhere else.
That looks about plus 120, and then yours is what? Minus 140?
Minus 145.
Minus one. Oh, I see. Okay, I see minus 140. I think we can.
Yeah.
Or do you look? You see you on DK right now actively?
I'm on DK actively.
Okay, then that's where the minus 140 is. So it's moved to my. All right, you take your minus 145, and I get plus 120.
Yep.
The Cowboys winning 9 games.
Ev, have you seen their schedule? It is brutal. They have not. Let's count it off here. Okay. First and foremost, you got the NFC East. You got the Eagles twice. You got the Commanders twice. And I know everyone says the Giants twice. They're actually going to be – I actually hot take think the Giants – I don't think they're going to be a good team. They're going to be frisky. But they have Abdul Carter now. That pass rush is lethal. And then on offense, I mean, Malik Neighbors is a legit stud wide receiver. They've got 2 young, solid running backs in Tyrone Tracy and rookie Cam Scatabo. Offensive line is better than it has been in years past. And no matter who they play at quarterback, whether it be Russ, Jameis, or Jackson Dart, I think are all better fits than Daniel Jones was. I think they're going to be frisky. So anyways,
dude, even I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule right now. Even if you book them for 2 wins against the Giants, like forget what you just said. Don't even make the case for the Giants, right?
Yeah. All right, keep going. West, they got to play the AFC West. All right, that means you got to play the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders. The Raiders being the worst team in that division, and they're pretty solid this year, at least offensively, in theory, right? All right, so you're probably at home thinking, all right, NFC East, AFC West, that's tough. Doesn't stop there, people, because they also have the NFC North, which is the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Bears, who will be better this year. Okay? Those 3 divisions are all on their schedule. That is brutal. And then, you know what? They have a 3rd place schedule, right? So you're probably thinking, all right, well, they're going to get a little bit of a break there. Wrong, because you get the Arizona Cardinals, and guess what? The Cardinals, they're not a pushover team at all. The only break in the schedule they possibly have is they play the Jets. And again, the Jets defense is solid, and who knows with Justin Fields, they could be an interesting team too. And again, I'm not saying they're going to be a good team, but I wouldn't say they're going to be a roll over and die for the Cowboys team. So I'm talking about the schedule, right? And let's just talk about Dallas real quick. This team is the Las Vegas Raiders of the NFC in the sense that they're very top heavy. Of course, you got your Micah Parsons, who, by the way, as of right now, we don't even know if he's going to play or not. Yep. You got Dak Prescott, who, when he's healthy, can work, but he's had a lot of health stuff over the years. Whole new coaching staff, new head coach, new play callers. Yes, they have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, but the offensive line is not as good as it was in years past. They still don't have a reliable running game post the Ezekiel Elliott era, Tony Pollard era. And their defense, even if they do get Micah Parsons, let's be positive for the Cowboys fans out there. Even if you do have Micah Parsons, the rest of your defense at best is mediocre. You're carried by Micah Parsons. Even with Micah Parsons, this is a bottom 12 defense in the National Football League, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, tough.
9 wins.
I want to do
9
this.
wins on the schedule. I dare you.
That's why I want to do this real quick. So you say win or loss. I want you to be generous, meaning if it's like a 50-50, you say they win it, okay? Eagles.
Loss.
Giants.
Win.
Bears.
I'm going to say loss.
Packers.
Loss.
Jets.
Win.
Panthers.
Win.
Washington.
Loss.
Denver.
Loss for sure.
Cards.
I got to give them somewhere, so I'll give them a win.
Okay. Vegas.
I'll give them a win there too.
Eagles.
Loss. I think they get swept by the Eagles.
Chiefs.
Loss.
Lions.
Loss.
Vikings.
Loss.
Chargers.
I'm gonna.
You know what?
I'm gonna go
for
loss.
Shits and giggles, for shits, let's give them one of the Minnesota and Chargers, okay?
Yeah, we'll give them one of those, right?
Washington and then New York. Even if they win that, I think I might have even lost count. Even if we are generous with that, that's 6.
Yeah, and that's being nice and saying that the team that they should beat, they're going to beat every time. Now it's also saying they're going to lose all the teams that are tough. But like I said, even if you give them a Packers win, give them an Eagles win, throw a couple in there.
That variance can go both ways too. You know what I mean? Like they beat the Eagles and
like
the
finding
Panthers.
9 wins on this schedule.
It's tough. Wow.
Even if they were a good team, even let's say they were the Packers, right? If the Packers had that schedule, I would say 9 wins for them would be a little bit difficult to figure it out.
Hell yeah.
For Dallas, with all the weaknesses they have, new head coach.
I hate this. 9
wins. And for me, here's where I feel extra comfortable with this, is that let's say the Cowboys do exceed our expectations, right? Maybe they do. Maybe they are better than we think. With that schedule, even if they exceed expectations, 8 wins would be exceeding expectations, in my opinion. So I just don't see 9 wins coming from this Cowboys team. I don't think this is a playoff team this year. I think Dallas should have traded Micah Parsons and started the rebuild, in my opinion. But I think under 8.5 and minus 145, yeah, there's a little bit of juice, but it's not too crazy. To me, under 8.5 with this schedule should be like minus 200.
Oh, I hate it so much. I really do. I hate it so much. Now I have the over 8.5. I do have the plus money. You gave me that. I get it. But guys, again, that's how Fade Me works, right? I have no say in it, and it doesn't matter if I agree or disagree, because I'm getting the other side no matter what. Fun fact, did take Dak his over. I think it was, I got it right here, is over 3,750 passing yards, but that's because any year he's ever been healthy, he's hit that over. So it's kind of just like you're rolling the dice on him, and he has 2 pass catching backs now with, was it Williams and Miles Sanders, who could be healthy. But no. I wouldn't say that that's going to take them to wins. I like his passing yards because they're going to be losing in a lot of games. You know what I mean? So tough. I think it's a good look. I will give you a nice round of applause there. Appreciate banger of a first Fade Me call. But just wait until I bring out the kickers in the regular season. Yeah. I roasted Tassos with the kicker props last year.
He would bring him out like Chase McLaughlin over 6.5 kicking points. And it's like, how can I possibly poke a hole in that? And they hit every time. Every time they hit. It was crazy.
But all right, that is going to be a wrap for the 8 picks that we have on today's show. You said that you have your individual plays coming out for the futures so this is going to be coming out Wednesday midday. When can people find that? Because mine's already live, guys. If you are interested in some additional plays that I have for NFL futures, that is live on the channel. Tassos, when's yours coming out?
Yeah, that's going to be coming out tomorrow around, I believe we're doing it like 12, either between 12 or 1. I haven't decided which one yet, but around 12 or 1 o'clock, where I'm basically going through all 32 NFL teams and giving you a play on the win total. So we're going to go over or under on all 32 teams. And I'll have some locks in there, of course, but I've been doing a lot of research. So obviously maybe a little bit unfair, Ev, that I was extra prepared for this video. I have all my over-unders already ready to go.
Hey, that's not unfair. Who's stopping me from, there's no like I could have done just as much research as you. That's not unfair at all.
Yep. So so make sure to watch out for that video tomorrow, our Thursday technically. But yeah, so it's gonna be a good one. Like I said, we're going in depth. It's gonna be a bit of a longer video, but we're gonna go through all 32 teams and kind of give my brief thoughts on each team. So yeah, so make sure to check out that video coming out tomorrow here on the channel.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, that is gonna do it for episode 1 of season number 3 I guess the futures edition is what we'll call it. Really do appreciate everyone tuning in. If you made it this far, go ahead and comment 47. You made it 47 minutes into the video. Really do appreciate it. We have such great things lined up for the NFL season. Really looking forward to it. H2H is just a banger of a show each and every week. You obviously get the plays, but you get the sort of back and forth and the entertainment too, which you're not going to want to miss that throughout the entire season. So really do appreciate it, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Toss us any last words for the folks watching.
I couldn't have had a better first episode, and it sucks that we're going to have to wait until February.
Yeah, I know.
For this, but
I know.
Talk about like I literally like this. I couldn't have scripted it better than myself. Like this is like the perfect every pick I wanted. I got the fade me. I got everything. If this is how this season is going to go, Ev, be prepared because it's going to be a long year for you.
Fair enough, because I kind of feel that. I feel like this was a show in which you definitely are giddy. You got everything you wanted. I don't mind my board though either. You know, I don't like the Cowboys spot.
I will admit,
but I think these are all decent looks from us for the people watching. But guys, it's gonna do it. Really do appreciate it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.